First of all, just a word on Reno Piscopo. He went off the other night at halftime. Is he pulled up okay for tomorrow?
Well, he's pulled up a lot better than we've predicted and thought. So, but I still think it might be a quick too short of a turnaround for Reno for this game.
So, in terms of his total participation, he might not even be included in the reserves for tomorrow?
No, not at all. I don't think so.
Okay. My next question was about the 11, which obviously is going to be broken up without Reno there. Do you think you've found your best 11?
Yeah, I think I think we did. I think the last game, we had all our visa players on board, which was great. With Tails in there as well, and I think we found a good combination. I think we've got a luxury now with the sixes that I have with Alex, Clayton, and also Cammy. So we've got some good players in that area, and Louis doing a great job as a right back, and Jimmy's been playing some good football this season as well. So pretty happy with the squad we put out in the last game.
I know you've talked about Clayton and how sometimes he thinks he's not a six. You've obviously convinced him that he is. Have you been impressed with the way he's adapted to that role?
Mate, Clayton's done a fantastic job since he's come in. He went overseas to England and he's come back and he's played some games back in New Zealand. And he's a great kid first and foremost, and he's got a great attitude and he's worked very hard to get himself where he's got to so far. And I think I still think he can do a lot more. And that's my job to get more out of him. So, he's been very impressive so far.
And just a word on Thomas Hamed, who obviously you talked about him after the game the other night. He's on a goal-scoring run now. Have you seen a little bit of a spring in his step now that he's scoring goals, he's contributing, he's getting up towards, close to what you need him to be fitness-wise as well? Yeah,
look, we knew Tom was quality anyway. It was always going to take time for him to get to that level. So, of course, there's a spring in his step. He scored 3 goals in his last 3 games. So that's what strikers want. Strikers want to score goals, and it gives them that confidence. So, hopefully he can build on that.
And now that you have, this kind of happened last year as well, when you kind of happened upon your best 11 and you played them up until COVID hit, you played them for sort of 4 or 5 games in a row. So what now are you asking and expecting from the guys who aren't in that 11, the guys who might not see the minutes that perhaps they would have hoped?
Yeah, look, it's difficult for those players. I understand every player wants to play. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, I've got to select 11 players to go out there and do a job. And the hardest thing for them is being able to obviously maintain their fitness because we don't have a reserve team. So we try to do our best to keep them at that level by topping them up with extra work. And it's difficult for them too when the team is winning for the team to pretty much change, unless there's a suspension or an injury. So they just got to put their head down and keep working, and their opportunities will come.
And just last one for me is about Macarthur. You played them in round 2, of course. That seems a long time ago. Rufus' red card was obviously a big talking point in that game. Do you feel you've progressed significantly as a side since that game? Because you were good against them then. Do you feel you're a better football side now?
Yeah, look, we once we got I believe our best players in the park, we played some really good football. So, look, it's going to be a great challenge again. This is our 3rd game in 7 days or 8 days. So, it's going to be another challenge for the boys to back it up. But I think we've got the quality to get the result.
Thanks, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Ufi. Phil here. Will Clayton likely push forward to cover for Reno if he's not going to play?
Yeah, we'll look at Clayton to play as a 10, which he believes he is, but I don't believe he is. But I think he's got the technical ability to be able to do that role for us. So, yeah, we'll probably look at Clayton playing in that role.
Yeah, and there was a story in the Sydney Morning Herald today. I'm not sure if you've seen it, linking you once again to a Melbourne victory. Are there any truth in those reports?
It's that time of the season again, huh, Phil, when clubs are looking for coaches and coaches are coming off contract. So, mate, it's always going to be thrown out there. So,
yeah, because
have I been quoted in it? Have I been quoted in it?
No, you haven't.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, because I guess you are one of those coaches who are off contract, and you've done a good job with the Phoenix. A lot of the fans do want to know, what your plans are. When would you like to have your future decided?
Well, look, my focus has been on this season. It's been a very challenging season for us here. But I know my heart's in the right place, and I think I've done the right thing by Wellington Phoenix at the end of last season. So I want to be successful. I am an ambitious coach, and I want the club to be successful as well. So my focus is on this year, and we want to make the top 6. And whatever the future holds, it holds at the end of the day.
Yeah, because is it a tricky one in terms of players wanting to re-sign? Because I guess naturally they probably want to know who the coach is. Yeah, does that make the process tough too? You know, if you're waiting and then there's, you know, players who are also waiting to re-sign?
Yeah, obviously players want to know who the head coach is going to be, but at the same time, we're still going through that process now of re-signing players. You know, we'll look to get a couple over the line. We won't announce them, but we'll try to get a couple over the line in the next couple of weeks. So, you know, we're in that process, and like for me, it's important whether I'm here at Wellington next season or I'm not, is to make sure that I leave the club in a good place when I do leave, you know, and leave it with quality players. So if I'm here, that I'm building on what we've done in the last couple of seasons, or if I'm not, the guy that comes in has something to work with as well.
Yeah, because what's like the challenge been like for you as a coach? Like you obviously moved over to New Zealand, and then COVID has kind of forced you over to Australia. And during that time, you know, there were lots of periods where you were away from your family, you know, having to be in different countries and stuff like that. Yeah, how big of a challenge has that been for you as a coach? Because it's a fairly unique position. Yeah,
look, to be honest, it hasn't been easy. My first 2 seasons as a head coach, everything has been thrown at us. You know, we started off, you know, very in a difficult position last year. You know, then we got the ball rolling and we played some really good football and got some really good results and ended up finishing in a decent position. And I believe if COVID didn't hit, I think we were playing some really good football and had really good momentum to continue on that season. So, you know, that put a massive halt to our momentum. And obviously COVID continue on now we're based in Australia, and look, at the end of the day, it's part of the challenge, you know, and for me, my job is, like I say, is to get the best out of my players so they can go out there and perform. We've had a bit of an inconsistency with a few injuries this season, but I still believe we've played a certain brand of football at the same time. But look, at the end of the day, like I say to my players, the opposition have 11 and we have 11 on the park, so we just need to go out there and play.
Yeah, and I guess just a final one for me, does the club want you to stay?
Yes, I've been in chats with Rob, and he sent through you know, an extension of my contract. So I'm just going through that at this moment.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Ufuk, you keep saying 7 days or 8 days. Which one is it? 3 games?
I don't know, mate. You can work it out for me. You love the stats, so you tell me.
Well, I'd say 7 days, but
okay, thanks, bud.
Sounds tougher. When you say you did the right thing by the Wellington Phoenix at the end of last season, are you talking about turning Melbourne Victory down then?
Well, there was an opportunity there for me, and I believe for me, I believe you know, Wellington Phoenix gave me my opportunity to be able to coach at this level. So, you know, I've done my best as a head coach, and I believe that I had another year on my contract, and for me, it was very important to continue that.
Have you talked to anyone from Melbourne Victory in the last few months?
No.
Has anyone representing you talked to Melbourne Victory?
I'm not sure.
When did you last talk to Rob Morrison about that extension offer he's put out?
Wednesday.
You know, if it's sitting there, why haven't you signed it?
Oh, obviously, football's about negotiation, Andrew, so there's got to be some sort of negotiation.
Are you happy with what you've received from the club during your year and a half so far in terms of support and resources?
Yeah, the club's been fantastic. Look, at the end of the day, you know, the club's been put in a difficult position, and the club is spending a lot of money for us to be here as well. So, you know, they've done everything possibly that they can for us to be here, and for Wellington Phoenix to continue. So, you know, for me, the support from the board and also from Robbie has been great.
Are you worried at all this could become a distraction? You know, you've obviously got an offer there. You're not wanting to sign it for whatever reason. You're not worried at all?
Nah, look, this is part of the game, Andrew. It's nothing new. You know, it's like players coming off contract. They want to know where they want to be at the end of the year. But the thing for me is all I can control is what I do with my team and the results that we try to get on the weekend. And whatever happens at the end of the day happens.
Have Melbourne Victory asked to talk to any of your players?
No. If I don't, I need to go back and look at the emails, but I think no.
You know, you played them on Wednesday night. What do you make of the state of their club at the moment?
Look, it's not for me to say. I don't work at Melbourne Victory. At the end of the day, I work at Wellington Phoenix. But, you know, they're a big club, and, you know, obviously everyone expects them to do well within the competition. So at the end of the day, they need to do what they need to do on their side.
And, you know, it was over a year ago, I think last March, before COVID hit and the season sort of went on pause, that, you know, the club was first talking about wanting to extend you. That's obviously a long time ago, and a lot has happened, different circumstances. Has there been any point where you've been close to wanting to stay on beyond the end of this year?
Yeah, obviously for me, like I said when I come in on day one, look, you're not gonna build a legacy in 3-4 seasons at the end of the day. But I think we can put an imprint and put a brand where the club has a great philosophy of what the game looks like. Whether it's me next season and where they look for a coach which suits their philosophy and the brand of football that they want to play. And that for me is very important as a club, because then it's easier to sign players which you believe suit the game that you want to play, because you know what the game looks like and how you want to achieve it. So for me, it was more so of, we always work off that underdog tag. We're not underdogs at the end of the day. We've got good players. We play football, We want to be a team that's always up there in the top 6 and trying to achieve and try to win things. So for me, we're, like I said, we're a New Zealand team, playing in the Australian competition, but we're never underdogs, mate. We can play football.
You mentioned negotiations. What more do you need to see from the Phoenix?
Oh, look, that's a discussion I'll have with Rob. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm very ambitious and I want to be successful. And that comes in with investment with the team, and also, investment of how we can be successful.
And just lastly, it sounds like we shouldn't expect to hear anything from you around your future until the end of the season. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, like I said, even if things get sorted, for me, that's not a big thing at the end of the day. My idea is for us to do well this season and push as far as we can go. Whether I sign a contract tomorrow at Wellington Phoenix is not a big thing, because at the end of the day, I'm here right now.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Cheers.
Does anyone have any questions about the match tomorrow night?
No one's got no questions about the game. Don't worry about the game.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Macarthur and how they played in their first season?
Yeah, look, I think they've done well. They've recruited some very good visa players, and they've got some very good local players as well. They changed their shape in the last game against Western, so we're going to have to prepare tactically if they set up in their normal shape of a 4-3-3 or they go into a back 5 again. So it's one of those ones we'll prepare the players just in case they do change, and then they know what's happening in the park.
And which player on that Bulls side do you think's been the biggest surprise this season?
I think the young boy Rose has done well. He's come from MPL2 into that team, and he's played some good football for him. He's very lively and he likes to go forward. So, we should expect what we expect from the most experienced players within that team, but I think he's done well for them.
I'll ask a question sort of about the game, if that's cool.
Sort of, okay.
Well, Stephen Taylor's, he's coming out of quarantine. He's coming to the squad. He's played. He's probably watched a bit of the team. Has he been able to offer a fresh perspective on, how you've been tracking, or maybe point out some things he's noticed or anything like that?
At the end of the day, Steve is a player, mate. So he's just got to concentrate on playing. My job is to point out all the things, what's happening on the park and what's not happening. So he just needs to concentrate on his game. And I think, you could see there was a bit more calmness within our defence with Tails being there. And a bit more stability, and because first and foremost he is a defender and he's a leader. So for me, he just needs to focus on the game that he needs to play on the weekend, and I'll give him the information of how he needs to do it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I know you're not big on superstition with the tracksuit arrangement, but what about the red shirts? Because if you happen to win again tomorrow night, that'll be 3 wins from 3 in the red shirts. Any possibility of an extension of that kit?
As long as we can find a sponsor at the front, mate, we can wear the shirt for the rest of the season at the end of the day. So I think it was good to show our appreciation to Wollongong, and we've got a great double header on the weekend again with the Wars playing before us. So hopefully it brings down the local fans to come out, and it's going to be a great day of football where they have 2 games, on a Sunday afternoon. So for me, at the end of the day, our colours are yellow and black, Piney. It's nice to wear these shirts now and then. But I think we can just go back to our original colours.